Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your agent of Animated Awesome. It is Monday. That means we are going to be talking about 5 more episodes of Kimba the White Lion, a classic Japanese cartoon that was the first color cartoon brought over here to the United States. These are episodes 6 through 10, and still early on. And you can tell the production order was different because there's a couple of continuity errors, which don't kill anything, but they're definitely if you watch them in a row, which no one ever did in the States back then, you wouldn't know because you just didn't know that there was an order to them. However, there in Japan there was, and the dubbing probably was fine there. Be that as it may, these were all aired in the 60s. Um, let's see, in Japan, November 10th, 1965, for this first one called. Well, we should Before we get too much further into it, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the notification bell if you desire. We do put up new content daily, at least so far, and we'd really appreciate it if you would watch just a couple more minutes longer than you might normally. Who lives down in deepest, darkest Africa? Who's the one who brought the jungle fame? Yes, Kimba the White Lion is his name. So our first episode, episode 6, is Jungle Thief. That's the one that was broadcast on November 10th, 1965 in Japan, and September 18th, 1966 in America, in the United States here. Director was Eiichi Yamamoto. Let's see, do we have the Starving Savannah is the name in Japan. So all the characters are there, and they're having a problem because somebody's stealing food, and that's an emergency, and it's a drought. It's always a drought. They're trying to get their farm going, but they're having problems. But look at this beautiful, just the cartoons over here didn't have. Some of them did. Johnny Quest had wonderfully detailed backgrounds. The Herculoids and Space Ghost did. The more serious ones did, but the comedy ones, they weren't going to look like this. That was by design. You were going with gags. So everyone's asleep, but there's a thief, and so the problem is everyone gets hungry. And it's a pretty basic episode about the farm. There is Henrietta Hippo and her little tiny hippo, I guess is the name. Hugo, maybe. Who knows what a little hippo would that be? It's her son, so I'm assuming it's a boy hippo. Fritz, possibly. There you go, Lilith. There's a hippo for you. You don't think that was on purpose. And there's Henrietta Warthog, or Hedda Riverhog, pardon me. And she gets sick. Kimba gives up her food. Pauly is Pauly. And it finally rains. So then there's the parents of some reason, which are not pink. They look like flamingos. And I think flamingos do come in white. But they work everything out. I could have done that. And they make sure it does rain so they get their food back. This footage was it says reused here. There's a fire as well, and Samson shows up from episode 4, but his horn is a little different because they had more than one production company working on this at the time at Mushi Productions. At least from what I remember, according to that excellent article in the the excellent Markalite magazine from the 90s. Boy, howdy. Anyway, let's go on to episode 7, and we'll hear a little more of this. Who's the king of animals in Africa? Kimba the White Lion is his name. That worked out well. This is called The Battle at Dead River. Everything's a week later. I'm not going to go through all of it. And even Eiichi Yamamoto is still the director. So we don't have a plot synopsis here. But it's another plot by Claw, who has several. The One-Eyed Claw. And we've got Tom and Tab in here, and Cassius, whose Japanese name was Toto. I don't think he was in Oz anymore either. But yeah, so Kimba gets angry in here, especially at Tom and Tab, because they're just doofuses. Kitty shows up and is singing some song. Who knows what? They really did try to dub in some English to make it sound, but Kitty's song was only played at was only an instrumental, but in the dub it was narrated by Kimba. I don't remember that. I just watched it, and this is the one where Claw tells Cassius that he's never heard of Kimba, even though he met him, in the second episode. So that's the dubbing, I'm sure, the English dub. There's old Claw, and Kitty's not a shy retiring little thing either, but Super Lion's there to help her out. And it's a good fight scene, but it's violent. They bite, scratch and tear. But he drives him off. Kitty's safe, except that Cassius sets him up for a trap. Doesn't help him very much either. Not exactly sure what's going on here. I did get all these several months ago before I realized I was going to do this, so my apologies. I enjoy Tim and Tab. They're just funny and dumb. You have to have some comedy relief here. This would have been a dire show like the sequel was, but it's see, Kitty just chomps on Claw. She has no problem with that. And then there's Kimba being. This did not happen because his mother got drowned before he got in the boat capsizing or in the storm, and Caesar was shot. So I don't. All right, so here's our next episode: the insect invasion. The meat-eating animals are hungry for meat, but we're having a problem here because they don't want to eat the skunk grass. When we get in trouble and we're in a fight, see, even who's the one who just won't turn and run? Even Kimba is not particularly thrilled about eating the skunk grass. But they have an insect invasion, which is grasshoppers. And apparently there's a plot point that's left out about whether the grasshoppers should be valued or eaten by the carnivores who want to eat them. And having two cats in the house, I know they eat bugs, and they would probably eat the grasshopper. Well, Emerald might. I don't know about Kaida. But yeah, there was... they tried to tone down that the animals, the carnivorous ones, want to eat their friends, just because they didn't want it too violent here in the States. I'm sure of that. I mean, in Dan'l, monkeys are omnivorous, so they want to give up the farm. But here are just really evocative grasshoppers. They don't look a thing like them, but it's kind of spooky and eerie. I wouldn't say it's scary unless you're a little kid, but they're trying to figure it out. And Dan'l and Pauly try to use the hide of Caesar that looks vaguely familiar to me. Simba. And everyone's happy again at the end. But even Dan'l says they might want to steal farm animals like Caesar used to do. All right. Our next episode's a fun one, although it has some ethical problems to it. Okay, so this is the Flying Tiger, which was called the Winged King, and it's the 9th episode. A week later, December 1st, 1965, February 7th, 1967. I'm assuming it was broadcast on NBC. Don't know. So the eagle is terrorizing the neighborhood. Clutch the eagle. I know that I don't know that that Peter Fernandez worked on it, but that sure sounds like one of his names. And Professor Madcap, and then the tiger is called Fliger once he gets his wings. Spoiler alert: it's a flying tiger. There's Clutch, who's just an old jerk, and he and Kimba have a problem. You get the winds, strong winds from his wings. Then suddenly Fliger appears. Now, tigers are, of course, not native to Africa at all. Period. End of story. They're Indian and Asian animals. China and India have tiger problems on occasion. But, I mean, it makes for a good story. You get to use a different animal. And I don't remember where it said the tiger came from. He doesn't really get a name. But he escaped. There's Professor Madcap, who's created him. And he's taken away Clutch's ability to fly, so they're trying to figure out how to. And Fliger's just terrorizing the other animals because he's hungry, and he doesn't have Kimba's civilized nature. And then but he fixes him, and apparently Clutch is fine, and now he's a hero, and everyone likes him. So, action-packed episode. And yeah, so Kimba has to team up with the human, and I don't know that they've learned to talk yet, but they must have. Anyway, now we're going to go on to our last episode, which is where I started this soundtrack here, which is Two Hearts and Two Minds, otherwise known as Two Hearts in Japan. And December 8th, and this wasn't broadcast till June 4th. Yep, shooting film. That's a film camera, reel to reel. I mean, probably 8mm, maybe 16mm. It's good sized. They drop a load of pictures here, and then there's pictures of Kitty in there. Kimba has nightmares about Kitty being in there. Anytime you're gonna. The episodes, are 25-minute episodes, and they take their time getting going. There they are. And you didn't get such evocative music.
Kimba, help me! There has to be Kimba!
So that's Billy Lou Watt, who's both Kimba and there. Apparently, now Kimba was talking in his sleep, so everyone's worried about him.
I mean, the helicopter?
That's what I said. I said I saw the helicopter coming.
Like the one up there?
So they go off to look for Kitty, and Pauly tells Kimba stories about his parents and also his own time in the man's world where he falls in love.
Where all those savage animals live? Good morning.
But they go, of course, there's a fire. There's always a fire at some point in time. And in lots of these. And Kimba rescues Kitty and Pauly.
And there's upwind of the fire. We'll be trapped. Keep running. Don't stop for anything.
Kimba! I saw Kitty! I saw her!
They're white, so I guess we won't be seeing them for a long time.
As a reward for your bravery, we've got a surprise for you.
Here's Pauly's surprise. And unfortunately for Pauly, this is Pauline.
Pauline! Oh. You mean you were in the jungle all this time? I've been trying to find you for years, Pauline.
And now?
Pauly, first I want to introduce you to my husband and family. Thanks to you, I've had a wonderful life in the jungle.
What? What do you mean, thanks to me? Oh, boy.
Pauly!
So, yeah, Pauly's the comedy relief as well.
I'm a lot better, too.
And now we get the sad goodbye, but Kitty won't be gone too long. She shows up several more times.
I hope I see her again soon.
Bye! I wish he didn't have to go. Bye!
They took Kitty back to her home, which is just weird. Why does she have to go back? All right. Well, there, my fellow agents, is our 5 episodes. Starting next week, I promise I'll have some more better notes and maybe some more audio. Definitely more audio. It's fun. And there is our voices of. I know that Peter Fernandez was working for Titan by now, and this isn't quite Titan, but there was a lot of crossover. And let's go back one here. We'll listen to a little bit of this.
Who lives down in deepest, darkest Africa? Who's the one who brought the jungle fame?
It's just a repeat of the first of the chorus. I mean, they're not going to pay to write two different endings, an ending and a beginning. They're just going to repeat it, which works. I mean, it's really well done. These images came from, of course, the Ultra set from, who was that? Madhouse and somebody or another. It's, it's quite a. I don't know if it's still in out in print. I got it when it came out, and it's got 10 discs, 12 discs. I don't know, a lot. But it looks great. I don't know that they're going to get any better. I would probably double dip, although they wouldn't have the extras. Maybe not. Be that as it may, agents, until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off. Tomorrow's assignment is a romance movie with a fantasy bent, of course.
Who's